Welcome to Brains, Brawn, and Bougie, a podcast hosted by three lifelong friends who are unapologetically authentic and never afraid to say what's on our minds.
From what's happening in our lives to what's happening in the world around us, we bring our honest opinions, real conversation, and plenty of laughs.
Join us as we unpack life, love, ambition, and everything in between with real talk, real humor, and just the right amount of bougie.
Brains, Brawn, and Bougie, yeah, we bring the whole thing. Smart talk, strong moves, living life like a queen. Tune in, level up, every week we go deep. Brains, Brawn, and Bougie, this is where you find your peak.
Hey everyone, I'm Patty.
Hello, I am Renee.
Oh, in process of elimination, I'm Eileen. Hello. How are you, ladies?
I am swell.
Awesome.
Thank you very much.
Swell.
I am
nice.
Yeah,
We are
that's
back
good.
in the 1950s. We're swell.
We're swell.
There you
Neato.
Neato, bandito.
Neato.
Well, it's so nice to see you again. And we are going to be talking about such an interesting yet disturbing topic today called the Manosphere.
I've heard of that.
Yes, and it's gained popularity. It has come and ebbed and flowed. It is reminiscent of Mad Men 1950s a little bit, but we're going to get down and dirty with what it is, what they believe, and why it exists. So, but before we do that, I want to catch up with my gal pals, Patricia. What's been
Hello.
going on?
Well, okay, so what have I done recently? I looked at a house with my mother. Yeah.
What?
Well, because
For who?
my mom.
Oh.
So give you a little bit of a timeline. So back after my dad died, my mom said, I'm going to sell the house. I said, fine, give it a year. We don't have time to do it right now. It'll give us time to clear out all the crap in the basement. So that was June, thinking we're going to start selling it, maybe put it on the market in March. February comes around. I don't think I want to sell it. And I was like, okay, that's fine. We won't sell it. 6 months later, I think I want to sell the house. This has happened at least 4 times.
Well, and she was thinking of a house, an apartment, a condo.
A 50
Then it was
plus.
50 plus,
Yeah.
then
She's
back to
she's
the
thought
house.
of everything. She keeps going
Okay.
back and forth and back and forth. And quite frankly, I wasn't sure what I thought was best, but I think what's best is for her to stay. The house it's ready for her. She's got a stair chair to get from the basement upstairs. It's one level. Everything's easy. But the thing that has been hard for her has been the pool. There's an above ground pool that my dad wanted, and it's work. And, she's just like, I just don't want the pool. So she had this place not very far from here. It's all like a condo, but with duplexes and single houses. And friends have lived there, and it's all one level, and she really liked it. And so I said, fine. She got all excited about it. She's like, I really, really want this. And I thought, this is it. This is it. So we went and looked at it yesterday. But before we went and look at it, she was like, I don't think I want to move. So she's not moving. She's not.
She made that decision in a 24-hour period from yes to no.
It was about 48 all the way around. Yeah. She's like, I feel bad that we're going to see this and your realtor friend. And I said, it's okay. He has sold 2 houses for me, and I bought a house with him. I'm like, he can go show us a house. It's perfectly fine. That's his job. And it was fun to see, but I think she's just going to stay here, which actually works out really well. But it was another roller coaster of I'm selling, I'm going to leave, I'm going to move. And yeah, at least 5 times.
I'm glad you made that little correction, because I was going to nail
Which
you
correction?
on that. The we instead of her, because I feel like because you are living there, your siblings, God love them, are going to be like, Patty can take care of all of mom's bullshit in the basement. And I mean, to me, the best part about moving is just, even if it's not downsizing, it's reorganizing, finding out your priorities, just kind of clearing some of the
finding all the
mothballs
crap you
out.
don't need. All the
Right.
stuff that you
Yeah.
just know you don't need anymore. I mean, Eileen, you also moved recently,
Well,
within 5
yeah.
years, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Renee just moved and I moved, and it's a lot, and it's great to downsize. And I do want more stuff kind of given away and gone through. The basement definitely needs to be cleared out because it's mostly Dad's stuff.
Yeah.
That's
But,
great about the West Coast. We don't have basements here,
Right?
so we don't have to worry about, that scary, dark, dank, musty, rat-infested
Well, don't you
place.
think though? It's truly the less space you have, the less you fill it with.
Oh my gosh,
stuff
you don't
that-
need it. You don't
Yeah.
need stuff.
No, well, so we do have a storage unit for my Christmas stuff, but this isn't about me. We were talking to Patty. Shut up, Renee. Shut up.
My
Oh my
Christmas
God.
is in 2 boxes because I didn't have a lot of storage space.
That's so sad.
And well, not counting the tree, but I like real trees. Yeah, I know. We know you love Christmas. It's your thing.
It is.
Yeah.
It is your
And
thing.
I also respect real trees, and I will not chop one down for my own enjoyment.
Wow. There you go, Patty.
Trees are a
clap back at
renewable
you.
resource. Trees are a renewable resource.
I'm not getting in this fight.
No, don't.
All right, Renee, did you figure out what you're going to tell us has been going on?
Well, yesterday I drove to hang out with one of my college roommates and helped her daughter clean her room for 6 hours.
Wow. 6
How
hours?
old
What
was your
did she
daughter?
have in there?
Well, okay.
Well, there's circumstances.
There's circumstances.
Okay.
She does have some limitations. She's in a
Okay.
wheelchair.
Well,
And-
then, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
come
every
on.
once in a while I go down. It's a great friend. She has triplets. They're great human beings. A lot of fun, but sometimes there are just things that are a little more difficult. And the daughter had reached out to me and said, I got a lot of things in my room and I would like it reorganized. Will you come and help me?
She actually reached out to you.
Yeah. So
Wow.
I went
Okay.
down
Sweet.
and helped her
You're
out.
so
and
nice.
every once in a while, her mom, my college roommate, would yell something, and I'd be like, "You shush, quiet. We're doing our thing. Leave us alone." People will be like, "My daughter's the same size as you," and literally give her bags of things.
Oh.
And I'm like, little lady, you are going to have to get better at saying thank you, but no, because she had boxes and bags and baskets of things that people have given her. And now they're like stacked up in her space and overwhelming her. So anyway, that's what I did. I drove 2 hours, sat in a bedroom for 6, and then drove
You're a
back.
good friend.
So there
Very.
you go. Oh, wipe that halo off. Get all the dust
Wow.
and mildew off of that one. But it was great. She was ecstatic at the results. And I'd like to say I do this out of the kindness of my heart, but it's not. I fill my car with the stuff. My friend will say, "I'll take care of it." I'm like, "Oh no, you cannot be trusted with this." So my car, the back seat and like the space in the back, I got like one of those little hatchbacks, crammed over 6 garbage bags of clothes. And then all the kind of knick-knack, paddywhack bullshit. And then the back seat was papers. And I'm like, okay, I am taking it away and I will deal with it. So we get it out of your house. And I said, you have 24 hours. If there is something that you're like, I really think I want that pink sweater, I said, I will go through the bags and dig it out if it's something you're regretting giving away. But after 24 hours, it's gone, baby. So anyway, that's my story of what I did yesterday.
Nice.
So yeah.
Very nice. So I also did some cleaning, but it was not for anyone else but me.
That's all right.
Well, so
it's cathartic, isn't it?
It is and it's not. So I am a mental case when it comes to cleaning. I don't know when to stop.
Are you
I
a
don't
little
know.
OCD, you think?
Yeah, I don't know. So the house next door, we're getting it ready to go back on the market, right? And we had a couple come look at it. Well, I hadn't gone over there and I don't know how long. So that's on me. Wow. A lot of creepy crawly things can crawl in your house when there's no one living there. But I was there for 7.5 hours.
Are you kidding?
It's
Because
a
that house in my
It's a
brain
4,000 square. It's a 4,000 square foot
But it
house,
was-
so it's a decent size.
when I saw it, it like sparkled.
Well, yeah. So it does again, but Joel kept calling me, going, "Can you come home?" I'm like, "No, I'm not even done with the primary suite yet." And I don't know what happened in 2 of the toilets. I don't want to know. It
Ah.
wasn't me. I had to go get bleach and literally bleach brand new Kohler toilets
I
because
think if they don't get flushed on a regular basis.
No, there were things in them.
Really?
From
Yes.
workers?
No, the workers. I think it was from people looking at the house.
I've never ever
Oh,
in looking
Patty,
at houses thought I
you'd
need
be
to use
amazed.
this toilet.
You'd
And
be
not
amazed.
Flush.
You'd be
That's
amazed.
so insane. I've
So
never
yeah,
heard
so
of
that was
That's
that.
disgusting.
And then I see that, and then I'm like, oh my god, there's got to be stuff elsewhere. But I also like polished the grill outside, and
Wow.
I don't know, 7.5 hours. I cleaned my own house too. It's just, to me, a pride of ownership kind of thing, and it is cathartic because I can listen to a lot of murder, listen to our podcast, a bunch of stuff. But oh man, I walked 7.5 miles in that house.
Oh,
that
my
is
gosh.
insane.
7.5 miles.
That is wild.
So while I was cleaning, I listened to a podcast that has to do with our topic today. And it was all about the Manosphere. And I talked to both of you about this before, and I had watched a special on Netflix about the Manosphere. And I know, Patty, you did your homework and watched it.
I watched it.
And Renee, she's like, what the fuck's the Manosphere?
No.
And I'm like,
well, yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah, I haven't listened to the podcast, so I'll say that when I talk stupid for the next hour, or watch the show. But I do have thoughts.
Let me just put a disclaimer out there. I don't believe that any of our listeners, I don't think any of the men that I associate with in my professional, personal life are part of this extreme Manosphere culture. This is not against men at all. This is more of an education of what this is, because unfortunately it's affecting a lot of our younger youth and our young adult men. Yeah, and I love men, and I love it when they love me, so this is not anything to do with saying anything anti-man. So now that that's out of the way, does anyone know who Andrew Tate is?
Yes, he's one of the Tate brothers, and he was arrested recently again.
Multiple times, right?
Hopefully he'll be gone forever.
Well, he and his brother Tristan are dual U.S. and U.K. citizens. He was originally a kickboxer and then was on the show Big Brother. And he started to use that platform to spew these ideas that he had about feminism, the fact that women belonged in their place, should not be able to have rights equal to men, that feminism was ruining the world as we knew it. He was charged with sex trafficking, human trafficking, rape, holding women against their will, and he ended up running away to Romania.
I was going to say, I feel like there was another country involved. Why Romania?
Extradition laws.
He went where he could go, right?
Yep.
And so then, behind closed doors, his sphere of influence went global. It exploded. and he just spoke hate and talked about how he would choke women and then rape them. And he was very open about it. Well, he got arrested in Romania. There was a report that he was holding a woman there against her will. And so they arrested him, and our administration got involved and had the travel ban that had been applied to him lifted, and he got his passport back. So he came right back to the United States. But when you talk about the Manosphere, which is really this online movement of men who do not believe that women should have basically any rights, and that they are born, they being men, are born without value, that they have to try harder, that they are in the position they are in because women today put them there. They're also called, some of them, incels, involuntarily celibate. So they're blaming not getting laid on the fact that women are holding all the cards. Now, I will say, when it comes to getting laid, women should hold all the cards. They should never be forced to do anything, right? So this has really spread online, and it's gone global like crazy.
In a perfect world, I would love to blame Andrew Tate and leave it at that.
You can't, though.
No, you can't, because there are players. Well, when you mentioned our administration, from what I understand, the son is a good friend of Andrew Tate. So we got that connection.
The younger son, Elon Musk.
Yeah.
Someone in the White House's legal department is coming to the aid of Andrew Tate, because he used to be Andrew Tate's lawyer. What you'll see now,
you have Pete Hegseth's, his pastor is preaching all of those same things you were. So it is interwoven.
It is global. It is.
And you have Joe Rogan, that I feel might be backpedaling a lot, but his platform is insanely large.
And it didn't used to be as bad as it is now. Yeah.
It's that young male, someone to follow. And unfortunately, these people that are spewing a lot of this hate is the people they are choosing to follow.
So what you've said, Renee, the young people, that's the biggest concern in all of this. So I watched The Manosphere, which
great documentary, people.
Really
watch
good
it.
Documentary. I watched it, and I had so many takeaways from this. I've got a lot to say. I'm sure I'll say it throughout. I don't want to just blurt it all out now. But one of the biggest concerns in all of this are the young people that are watching all the social media, following, so excited to see these people, bringing up these ideas and taking them on as their own, and blaming everything they can't do as a young man on women who are making that happen to them.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And that's very true.
A scary, scary, scary part of it. I do want to say, from my perspective on things, I've always been this way. This is concerning. Ultra conservative religious people are concerning. Ultra liberal people can be concerning. These are outliers in society, and we focus on this a lot now because it's sensational and it's so outside of what we know, and we're curious and interested. But the reality is we're still working on a bell curve here. And the middle part of it is most people don't hold these views at all, the majority of people, but these fringe people do. And of course, the problem is that can creep into our lives in different ways. And so I think it's important.
Let me give you a stat.
Are educated. Yeah. People need to be educated.
Over 40% of young males believe in what they see, read, and hear on this topic. 40%. That's not on the fringe anymore. And then those people start multiplying in Kenya and Mexico and the US and everywhere else. So I see what you're saying, and I completely agree with you. And I really do, in my soul, believe this is one of the reasons, not the reason, one of the reasons that led to Trump winning the election is because of the white male thinking that they have been kept down. And let's make America great again and have barefoot and pregnant women, because that's all they're worth. So when you look at what the definition of feminism is, all it is at its soul, at its core, is to have equal treatment, equal right of gender. That's what it's about. But these folks in the manosphere use feminism as being the reason why they can't get ahead. They say that women are born with more value, more worth than they are. Do you want to know why?
Why?
Because they have boobs and a womb. Because they're sexual beings. They have more value, which means the white male, boo-hoo, has to work harder. So they start spreading this message to these 14, 15, 16, 17-year-olds, some of them from single parent homes, mostly single moms, that feel awkward, don't feel like they're attractive, don't feel like they can attract the opposite sex, have a lot of anger, have a lot of mental health crises, concerns, and struggles. And they start out by promoting, make yourself the best version of a man you can be. That is not a bad message. Be as healthy as you can be. Again, not a bad message. Treat your body well, because it's the only one that you have. Again, not a bad message. But then they start to twist it on you. So when you start getting involved, then they start bringing up the hate and the subscription basis and their own personal crypto and all these different things that these men have made millions of dollars on, taking advantage of young male youth that don't have a strong presence in their life, whether it be from a father figure, from a minister, from a school teacher, from a friend, from someone. Right?
Well,
they're susceptible to it.
On that note, that's because you can't start a cult by saying, we're going to start a cult. Anybody want to be in my male cult? You know, in this male cult, nobody's going to have sex.
Right.
That's not how you start a cult. You start a cult by saying, let's be healthy. Like, you know, all the good things. All the good things draw you in. And then
and they give dating advice. There's this other show that I really think you guys should watch. It's called Surround, and it's on YouTube. And it is one person in the middle, I think 10 to 12 people of an opposite view. And this one was on this whole topic, the Manosphere. And they were talking about what the believers in the Manosphere talk about: body count. Body count is the number of sexual partners one has had. Now, I'm sure this is not going to shock either one of you. If a woman has a high body count, she's worthless. If a man does, he's virile. They do not want to be with or say kind things about independent women that have went through their sexual revolution in college or whenever, or after they divorced or whenever the hell it was. They look down upon that, but not for a man, not for a man at all. So they will always ask a woman, what's your body count? And the gentleman who was in the middle of the surround circle was like, that is so not important in successful relationship. And what the Manosphere men are saying is, well, there had to be something wrong with her because no one kept her. They kept moving on. So she had this huge stack of bodies behind her.
And that is literally no different than it was 20 years ago and 30 years ago. Because it's always been that double standard. That's been there forever. I mean, all of these things, you know, have been around forever.
Yep.
These ideas, they're being amplified by social media. And more people now, more young people are hearing them. Again, the Manosphere is this overarching umbrella about anything that kind of puts women into these narrow and misogynistic categories. So, you know, they can be anything. And the Andrew Tates are way at the end of the crazies, right? The ones who are out sexually assaulting women.
They're the preachers, They're the ones that are preaching the word.
That think they're going to get away with it. And that's part of the whole thing with certain politicians, and this hasn't been just this administration, and with people who have power. I mean, how many people come into money, come into power, and all of a sudden they feel like anything they do is untouchable, right? You know, I can have as many women as I want. I have to say, the thing I wanted to talk about with the Manosphere was, all I kept thinking as I watched the actual documentary was, they're all grifters.
Oh,
They're trying to sell what they have to these other young men, and that they can be just like them, rich, powerful, have all these women, have a wife at home with children, and still have all these girlfriends who are going to come into the marital bed with you and all this. And all you have to do is listen to me and pay me. And these young men are not getting anywhere. They're all grifters.
They're not getting anywhere. And they actually talk to some of these poor young men that I think they were down in Miami on the show, and one of them was homeless for a long time. He had nothing left, but he would still pay his last dollar to the Manosphere man that he was so enamored with, because he believed
it's
so much.
Very cult behavior. You'll also see a lot of people do that with certain religions, where I don't have a pot to piss in, and I could, I have this last few dollars. Could I help my neighbor next door? No, I'm going to give it to, the guy running my church.
Well, and you're right, Patty. I mean, the Manosphere is this big umbrella, and there's all these intricate sub Manosphere groups that, I mean, some of them are just nutty. A lot of it kind of started taking on its own language, its own lexicon, its own vernacular, which is really weird. There's so many great podcasts and so many great shows out there on this. But when you look at the Matrix, if you're living in the Matrix, you're working for the man, and no one's going to work for the man. I'm not working for the man, whatever. I have the red pill. The red pill allows me to then really transform myself into almost like a godlike creature, and then I will be able to share upon you all my knowledge and everything else. So there's the red pill, which is at the core of the Manosphere. Then there's the black pill. The black pill is more about looks, and there's this whole subculture. And it's called bone breaking. Like this one guy, his name, I want to say Clavicle. He literally would take a hammer to his face online to break his jaw, so when it would heal, he'd have a more defined look. He was more interested in outshining other men. But he's 20 years old or whatever, and it's nuts. And so he changed his name. He grew up in Hoboken, New Jersey. Clavicular is his name. Yeah. And so he is all about out mugging, I think is what they call it. So
Maxing.
Yes, looks maxing, and then, or is it mogging? But it's just amazing how these subcultures start growing out of what was once just this one kind of belief, and then moves into all these other things. And the one guy in Kenya, his name is also Andrew. And the BBC, a woman was doing a documentary on him and asking him questions. And he's like, look, I'm not trying to sell anything. She goes, yeah, you are. You're on social media asking for, currency all the time to buy your book or buy your swag or buy your t-shirt or buy whatever. He goes, well, fuck them. I don't give a shit if they're dumb enough. So he literally looks at them as consumers, and that's how they're being treated. So they don't have a flying lick care in the world about all these poor young men that are potentially suffering and really ruining their lives.
Well, okay, I'm going to take a far right turn and say women are not completely innocent in this game either, in this weird time we're living as far as trad wives, and I think they play off of each other. The last thing I heard was, have you ever met a 40-year-old trad wife?
Right.
And it's like, no, you haven't, because they're either dead or divorced and trying to scrape themselves out of this financial, emotional, terrible hole they have made for themselves, or a multitude of issues. And here we are back again, where they are highlighting this lifestyle, which is a farce because they're online selling, again, Eileen, this, that, the other thing, the lifestyle, where you're not making all this stuff unless you have a staff behind you. But, it's almost like they're playing out these roles, these young men, these young women of fantasy roles of the world that just does not exist. And they are dragging a lot of other people down with them.
And it's male supremacy. And it's,
Yeah.
they wanted to go back the way it was. And it was never quite like that.
It was never like that.
No. Well, and so anxiety was not a discussion for us when we were in high school, but it is a very strong discussion now for anybody, elementary on up. Anxiety is very real and it's out there. And so the idea of having something to kind of take that away, to make you go simple, I think people really jump on that. And then you add in the conservative religious aspect of it. And what do you get? You get trad wives. And then social media, there are plenty on there who are hamming it up for social media too.
Well, look, if you want to be a trad wife, if it is your choice,
right,
that's fine. But if it's a man's choice that you become a trad wife,
I still hate the term trad wife, because to me it's very different than being a stay-at-home mom or whatever vernacular. There was never such a thing as a trad wife. I mean, I guess if you were like, my mom was probably considered a trad wife. Well, I mean, she was not, that was not a lifestyle. It was a lifestyle that just happened. It wasn't easy and awesome. I mean, holy cow, she was.
It's the hardest thing to do in the world, is to be a traditional housewife, take care of everything from top to bottom, back and forth, up and down, with no help at all. You might as well not be married. Right? I mean, at that point.
Now, to bring it back to the Manosphere, it almost seems like the people that are really going to drag us out of this situation are men. Like, men need to freaking step up. It's like, no, I love my wife. Okay, great. Now you need to love and support other women in your life. And that means raising men or young boys a little more hands-on, and get them out of their basement and start praising the women around you.
I totally agree. I just think, though, the squeaky the squeaky wheel gets the worm, whatever it is. Anyway,
wheel gets the grease.
No,
grease the squeaky wheel. The early
I think
bird
you're
gets
awful
the worm.
as shit. Yeah, I was going to say,
anyway,
there's a bird and a wheel and a bus
and a worm
and a worm
go
round and round. So there.
Anyway. Okay, so
our next podcast will be on menopausal women
and losing words,
metaphors.
And, okay. No, I agree with you. So the squeaky wheel are typically the people that are the nuttiest, right? They're out there preaching and yelling, and they got their platform, and people going, "Oh yeah." It's the people that are in the middle lane, driving the speed they're supposed to, doing the stuff that makes the world a better place, da-da-da-da-da. We're not confrontational people. We're not out there just screaming.
You have the airwaves that are riling people up and making you angry and telling you how you should feel. They're not
but that's
asking
what people
you how
want to
they
talk
feel.
about.
They're telling you, right?
Yeah.
It jazzes people up. It's not news. It's entertainment, and their whole job is to get you worked up about something that means nothing in your everyday life. But you're going to get your energy up, and then that is what is going to drive you to make some stupid decision.
I think the reason why this is such a huge phenomenon is nothing surprising. It's the internet. It's the accessibility. Yeah. It's the algorithms that once you look at something, you are shot 5 different things that are the same core, but maybe a different view. And then you start going, oh my God. So they looked at these social postings for like 3 years of these young men that started following the Manosphere. And it was very casual. Like 3 years ago, it was just like maybe one thing about this and da-da-da. And then it kind of gained speed and it gained in quantity, not quality. And then they became podcasters themselves. And then it just fed on itself. And there's nothing else, I don't think, in women's existence that has happened like that. I mean, I know we fought for the right to vote. Might have to do it again, actually. We fought for the right to make our own choice, our body, our choice, all that stuff. We
That's
did
gone.
lose that. We lost that. But I've never seen, and I don't know if it's because women handle things differently through conversation, through introspection, through trying to be a better human being, just because we have that EQ much higher. But I don't see this anywhere unless Patty or Renee, you're aware or somewhere else in the world this has happened to this degree.
No, but if you are so hell-bent on your existence depending on the non-existence of someone else, that is straight up fear of that other entity. And
oh yeah,
our worlds right now obviously fear women in a multitude of reasons, because they wouldn't be so hell-bent on taking away every right we have, from voting to our own bodies to daycare, everything that allows us to be successful citizens in our own country.
Okay, I'm going to tell you all this. So,
okay, you tell us.
I got it. Yeah.
I'm going to tell you.
So we've talked about this before. I heard another thing that was just as shocking. The idea of, when could women have credit cards? When could they get a loan for a business or have a business in their own name, which was shockingly late. But the year that the last state finally put on their records that marital rape was actually a thing, like no longer could a husband just rape his wife. Anybody want to guess what year that was?
No, because it's going to make
1983.
It's going to make
1993. 1993. Were you married by 93, Renee? Yeah.
I was.
I know, like our lifetime. But here's the thing. So if you look at why is it so big? You say, Eileen, this is the biggest ever. It's never been like this. A couple of reasons. Social media, of course. But also because in the 1950s, it didn't matter. Women didn't have the rights. In the 1960s, they didn't have the rights. So they're starting to get the rights. They're getting them. They're slowly coming in. DEI, which whatever you want to say, it's just treating people equally. But the civil rights movement, everything like that. Well, now there's this big backlash on everything, because now people in power and people who have the floor or any kind of say are telling people that these are the reasons why you're not doing well. You're not doing well because Black and brown people are coming into the country. You're not doing well because women now, they're taking all this power away from you. You're not doing well. So it's easy for people, especially those already kind of in that mindset of, why don't I get everything I want? Yeah.
You need someone to hate. You need someone to
and
hate
to blame for your life not being what you want it to be.
Right.
I blame the two of you.
Well, of course.
I don't think I have ever blamed anybody for anything in my life that wasn't a direct attack or something,
I'm not getting this because of them.
Yeah, I don't go around blaming people. It just makes me work fucking harder and I'll figure out a way. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't understand the blame thing. And what I worry about are young boys in particular, because, Renee, you raised two boys too. They can be kind of dumb and they can make some really interesting choices. But, more men, to your point, not even their family members, but more men need to give a shit about these younger men that do show signs of depression, anxiety, or not belonging, or awkwardness, or whatever. Whether it's poor teachers, we expect them to do everything and we pay them nothing. But even in all the churches and all these places that people go, why aren't they talking about this? Why is the minister or the priest not getting up and talking about the men?
Well,
knock it off.
Shocking.
Knock it off. I know. But I'm just saying, like,
shockingly,
it's just so frustrating.
I think we got to change the tone from boys to men. Because
when they're 14, they're not.
Well,
yeah.
Correct. But I think most of this is like the 20-somethings. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Could be wrong.
It is. But I'm saying they catch them when they're 14, 15, 16. They go after the vulnerable. That's what pisses me off. They go after the
Just
vulnerable.
like a cult.
Just like
a cult. And let's put some sugar on it and lipstick, and it's gonna look like we're just talking about bodybuilding, and we're gonna give you some dating tips and all this kind of stuff. And that's just a thin veneer over what is really happening.
Why aren't people standing up and you mentioned preachers,
clergymen? Yeah.
Again.
I know.
I mean, the fact that anybody in this day and age is talking about the fact that women should not have a right to vote, that it should be a household vote, and that the men would then cast that vote. It's scary that they're having those conversations. Like, did we not get past all of that? But they so desperately want it back.
You're still going to a church that does not allow women to play an equal role. So it starts way up here.
I understand. Yes, I know. But I don't think you change things. You change things on the inside. You don't necessarily change them from being on the outside. But in terms of, these conversations they're having about, they've already taken away Roe versus Wade. People are talking about trying to take our voting rights. I mean, what is next? What is next?
Fashion.
By the way, did you know, did we talk about this, that the whole taking away DEI and any kind of looking at college admissions from any kind of basis at all, sex, race, religion, whatever.
So wrong.
Yes. But did you know who in this first round of it, who actually lost out on college admissions?
Well, I want to say it's white women. Oh, I thought it was
white men. It was white men.
That's hysterical.
Women actually benefited quite a bit because their scores are good.
I remember when Joel and I were first married. Oh, he's gonna hate me. And
why do you do this to him?
Well, because he's just so cute. And so we were talking about, being a woman, and I think I was talking about it from a perspective of work. I just remember looking at him, and I'm like, and he was in his 40s and a white man growing up in California. And I said, you are the luckiest son of a bitch in the world today. And you have been up until now, but now you're married to me. So the luck has changed. But no, and he never looked at it that way. And I said, you have a daughter.
Yeah.
And he just, at that point, could not absorb the fact that things could change like Roe versus Wade. I warned him about it when Trump went down the escalator, and he said that would never happen. And so I just remember him kind of thinking, I said, you're a college educated, middle class white man. What more do I have to say? And so I just find it interesting that people don't know what they have.
Oh, right. And they do not.
Yeah.
They do not put themselves in other people's shoes at all.
Well,
again, you need a hater.
They don't ever question why they have it. That's part of it. There's never a question. It's just an assumption. You don't know it. You don't think about it. When I was in my grad program at Vanderbilt, I had to take a class on diversity and equity. The one thing I got out of it more than anything was that I never thought about the fact that when I get up in the morning and I look in the mirror, I just get ready. But a lot of people look in the mirror and they think, okay, I have black skin or I have dark skin. Where am I going today? How do I need to present myself? Every day they think about who they are, because every day they're walking into situations that may be uncomfortable for them. And that rarely happens to us. As women, we know those times that it does happen.
Oh, yeah.
We're very aware of that. We are very aware. But as a white person,
I think it goes in levels.
Yes.
Yes. But you're right, Eileen, that again, I hate to be like, but the white male, they're just living their life.
They can go anywhere.
Next notch up is a female where you're like, yeah, I wish I could just go to my car and go here and do that without ever considering my environment. Because, you know, I'm sharing that with dudes in my life all the time. Okay, you know, if I was by myself, this is good. And then you notch up, you know, an ethnicity, a different race, a different color of skin,
economics, upbringing,
it's
like
everything.
You freaking people have no clue how easy sailing it's like. I don't get any special treatment. You know,
every day is special.
Every day, exactly. Every day.
Well, and I had
white male day.
I had this conversation actually yesterday with my mom, where I talked about this, and I said, it doesn't mean that white men have not at different times had to individually do something extraordinary to become who they are. Like, pull themselves out of a situation.
Up by my bootstraps. Well, no,
but you have to recognize that they had it a little easier because the one thing they didn't have to worry about was the color of their skin or the fact that they had a penis.
I think going back to, you know, that cultist kind of premise.
We have so many cults brewing in our country right now.
We do.
It's
more than the number of serial killers. So
I know.
We'll bring it back to that.
It's crazy. Well, and I remember I never watched Mad Men, and
me either.
We started watching it, and I always felt kind of uncomfortable. And I'm like, okay, he's having a lot of affairs, and she isn't, and she is at home with the kids, and he comes home, you know, after doing whatever he was doing. I stopped watching it because I'm like, why is this even on TV today? It just pissed me off because that was the era that our parents grew up in.
Okay, but, and I don't even know how to phrase this properly. Don't you think our mother's generation just excused so many bad behaviors and accepted so many just wackadoodle ideas?
Absolutely, because they didn't have anybody ahead of them to say no.
Yeah.
Well, and they didn't have the means to back out of it and be on their own.
Right.
You know, so when you don't have any money in your name, you know, what are you going to do? Why you're going to stay? You're going to
And that's why my mom always said, please never financially depend on a man. And she said that at one of her lowest moments that I remember, and when my dad was cheating, she just said, please don't ever put yourself in the position that I have put myself in, and you two girls. And it was so sad, but it was such sage advice. And I never forgot that. And I have never depended on a man ever.
Well, you need
outside financially. Like, I do depend on Joel for
that's
many
what
things,
a relationship
you know?
is.
Yeah,
that's a relationship.
But I've never held it over any man's head how much I make or anything else. I've never made them ask permission to go buy something. My money's your money, whatever. I don't care. You know, I remember my mom asking, are you going to get a prenup with Joel? I'm like, no. Because I'm not going to let him leave me. I will kill him before I let him leave me. So,
Oh, no. It is on tape now.
It is.
Oh, it is on tape. Joel is
he's
safe.
told everyone. He tells everyone, if anything weird ever happens to me, she did it. It was her. But no, it is so cultish. And I am so worried about it in so many ways. They did a lot of the studies that I went through did say that it was starting to have a bit of a decline in the radicalism around it in the following, because, as you know, Trump is losing some of his supporters. Yeah.
A lot
so
of it.
That is, and so I think this will ebb and flow, but I do think the internet, of course, is the reason for so many things, good and bad.
Yeah.
But it's the algorithms that happens when you just, be careful what you search for, because you're going to get a lot of ads for it. So, like if someone's searching for penile implants, that's what they're going to get ads for. Like I cannot tell you, I took my acrylic nails off.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, and so because I'm just like I'm a slave to this. I hate it. It's stupid. But press on nails, the technology's gotten so much better.
Press-ons are great.
I know. So I bought a couple of them. I am now across every social platform, and I bought them on Amazon. Every social platform, I am being inundated.
Yeah.
So just think about those young men that search
Oh,
for
the algorithm.
that.
It's the algorithms.
Inundated.
And
Inundated.
easy to be swayed at that age. And to say, oh, so-and-so didn't want to go out with me, you know, it's
Well, I
it's
had
her
to
fault,
hope,
right?
too. Yeah,
Yeah.
as they get older and realize they're taking dating advice from someone that hasn't ever been on a date might not be your best bet. Like, go find a male figure that has a great relationship with their
Right.
significant other, and that's the person that you might want to be
Exactly.
asking some advice.
And the one that disturbed me was when I was looking at this Andrew guy in Kenya and just the culture there. They were talking about asking a girl out on a date, and she's like, "No, like why would I date you?" And he slapped her. And that
Wow.
is completely acceptable in certain cultures, and because she was being rude. But I'm like, no, she was just like, no, you're an idiot because you're playing a peacock right now, and I don't want to go out with a
Yeah.
peacock because you're an idiot. I don't know. I just, again, I want to reiterate to any of the male listeners out there, it's not in the mainstream. It is on the fringes, to
Mhm.
Patty's point earlier. But if you have young boys as a
Yes.
Right.
mother or father, sit down and really understand what their search history is. Talk to them about it. Watch, that Netflix special. Educate them on what to look
It's
out for.
very interesting.
And show,
It is.
but also, other things that really like show respect to the women in your life, because then your younger males in your family
We'll see that.
see how a relationship should be and how people in your life should be held respect. And to the women out there, the young women, if you don't get off your freaking ass and vote,
Yes.
Yeah.
everything,
Vote.
well, you're just not going to know any better because you're not going to have any rights. Like, you are going to be starting so just scraping tooth and nail and getting to where we are, let alone where the generation before, where they didn't even know they were on the top of the hill. They all thought we were going to climb higher, and here we are.
Well, and again, too,
Clicking back
another caveat. Don't look down on anyone that wants to be a full-time mom,
Oh,
full-time wife,
absolutely not.
anything like that.
Absolutely
Absolutely
not.
not.
Absolutely not.
Here's
Or
my
full-time
own
dad,
little
yeah.
mantra. There was a time when our children were younger where I worked part-time, and I'd be like, oh, Mama gets to go to work today. Because I'm like, I'm exhausted right now. All right, yeah. Hardest job I've
went
ever
back
done.
to work. I didn't take my full maternity leave. I couldn't. I was just like, I gotta get out of here. It was.
It's different.
I
different.
needed to talk to other human adults.
I want to say one thing before, because I know we're getting close to the end, but as we've seen these incels, the Manosphere stuff online, also are seeing people who were part of that who no longer are. So I encourage people to show that as well to the young boys, who these men now who are saying, yeah, I was really into that incel thing. And then I looked around and I realized, oh yeah, the problem's me. It's not the women, it's me. And you'll find that online too. And those are affirming and also kind of will help those younger men and the teen boys to go, oh yeah, I don't need to listen to these people. They're jerks. They're idiots.
Patty, isn't that same phenomenon starting to happen too with the trad wives?
Oh yes. There's a quite famous TikToker who dresses up and talks like this and makes dinner from scratch with their kids. And she was on a show in her regular voice saying, oh no, we are equal partners. We do everything together. I am not a
So she was playing a character.
She's playing a character and getting lots of views and making lots of money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, it's all, it's everything's cyclical. Everything is.
Yeah.
Eileen, this was a great topic.
And thank you guys for agreeing to do it, because I know it's not a.
We're so agreeable once you get to know us.
No. But I would. It's Louis Theroux who's the person on Inside the Manosphere on Netflix. I highly recommend you do that, and then also on Surround on YouTube.
Yeah.
And there's one about the Manosphere. It is mind-boggling when these men come up and say this stuff to this guy in the middle of the circle. He's like, "You just compared women to cars." Like, I don't think that's a good,
I've actually seen pieces
good
of
analogy.
that. It's good.
Yeah. It's very good. And I think just educating yourself on it, on anything. Educating yourself on anything is important. And I know we are very opinionated.
What?
I know! But I think most women of our generation have seen it all, been through it all, and have fought against it. Yeah, and we've had to fight against it and watch our mothers deal with shit that we haven't had to deal with. And so hopefully it's better for our daughters. And so, no, I really appreciate it. But again, give us some feedback. I would love to know if anyone has a brother or a family member that has fallen prey to this manosphere, because it does affect their entire families. This is not just a one and done. It does bleed out, and a lot of relationships are lost because of the radical thinkings of these folks. But no, this is great.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Awesome. You're very welcome. So,
Thanks.
all right. Love you guys. Remember, watch, like, share, follow, and give us feedback. And thank you again for helping us become more popular every day. We love it. And so until next time.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Love you.
Peace out.
That's a wrap on today's episode of Brains, Brawn, and Bougie. Thanks for listening, friends.
Be sure to follow our podcast so you're the first to know when a new episode drops. And please, don't forget to share with your friends.
We'd love to hear your thoughts and ideas, so drop us a note at info@brainsbrawnandbougie.com. Until next time, don't forget to bring the brains, bring the brawn, and always bring the bougie.
Brains, brawn, and bougie, yeah, we bring the whole thing. Smart talk, strong moves, living life like a queen. Tune